Hello everyone. To anyone that's watching, a few of you that are at this current moment, my name is Lindani and this is Yearning for Learning with Lindani. So, just a quick debrief and a quick intro about me. I'm 22 years old, South Africa. Honor student, informatics with computer science and information systems, and I'm a yearner. Not in the corny kind of way, but like I'm a yearner in the sense that I yearn for knowledge. I'm always learning, or at least I'd like to think I like to learn, so there's a bit of a balance with that, but even though I do like to learn, I do like to laze around, I do like to doom scroll like everyone else, and I'm just a normal guy who wants to be less normal, because this video is going to be a video where this channel is going to be a channel where I speak, take you guys through my journey of learning, and I hopefully get to learn along with you guys, and you guys can hopefully learn something from me, and hopefully I learn more from you guys, because I like to believe that I am a learner. I'm a yearner for learning. Yeah, so today's video is going to be about how to do hard things, or at least why we struggle to do hard things. I think when I think about it, when I think about why we struggle to do hard things, I think before I get into how we should try to get better at doing hard things, I think we should speak about why we struggle to do hard things. I think for the most part, the cost, the cost. So by that I mean like anything that's worthwhile, anything that's good in life, or anything that you should want, has a high cost. Getting the highest marks in class has the high cost of studying the most, probably. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about like those kind of people that are just insanely smart and they get it on the first go. We're not talking about that, but we're talking about like the average person who wants to be non-average. So getting an amazing body needs you to go to the gym, and there's a cost in that, So I think of it like this. I think there's like a mountain. Think of it like this. You should think of it like this, how I'm thinking of it. Yeah. So there's a mountain, and at the top of the mountain, that's where you want to be. And you are currently at the bottom, and you are currently walking up this mountain. It's about, like, let's say 100 kilometers, just to make it easy. You're walking up a 100-kilometer mountain hike, make it even nicer. And at the top, that's where you have your six-pack, you've got your bicep vein, you've got your quad, you've got your hamstring, looking amazing and everything, in terms of like fitness, if that's like your goal, if that's what you want to do, which is a hard thing. Going to the gym and getting a good body is a hard thing. It's not easy, becoming the best in class, if you're a student, getting the best marks, getting the job that you want, learning a new skill that you want, to get there, you have to go through this mountain, you have to climb up, and in this mountain, there's like steps, there's phases and all that kind of stuff. So think about it like this, and after every, we tend to look at the road, which is a 100-kilometer road, that you have to get to having this great body. You're focused on the road, you're focused on all the costs that need to be gotten in order for you to get there, instead of actually looking at instead of looking at the mountain, instead of looking at the reward, instead of looking at what you are aiming to do, and I think that is why we struggle, because we are looking at our focus isn't on the right thing. We're focused too much on how hard it's going to be. So with that being said, there's a lot of other things, and I don't want to make this video too long. It is only my first video. I don't want to make it too long. So I think that's one reason. As I talk, I'll develop the others, but like, I think that you shouldn't be looking at the cost, because if you look at the cost, you kind of never get anything done. You kind of like, you kind of like faff around a little bit, and like motivation doesn't really work. Because I saw a Sam Sulek video yesterday, and he said like he thinks motivation is like like if you were like in space, it would be like these little particles, and they go, and it's like hype, 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 nothing, and then nothing happens. And that's kind of what motivation is like. So another thing is, how do you build discipline? And I mean, motivation is an amazing thing because it gets you to do a lot of stuff, but oftentimes, and then boom, nothing. Because motivation is basically needing an external source to do something. You need an external source to go to the gym. You need someone to pump you up so that you can, so you can do that. You need to fail first before you can study, and pass. You know what I mean? So that kind of thing. So how do you actually get that thing in you where you are not motivating yourself, you're disciplined to the point where you go study, you go to the gym, you go read your Bible, you go read your book, you go do whatever it is that you are struggling to do. I think I'm going to be speaking about the gym and school a lot. I am a student, and those are the two things that I am quite focused on a lot. So just watch out for that. I think that you should try to eat the frog. So what that means, so there's it's like a thing, it's like a saying of some sort. So if you had to eat the frog every day, then I'm coming, just wait. If you had to eat a frog every day, you can imagine it's pretty disgusting. It's a frog. So you wouldn't want to do it. But if you can eat that frog the first thing in the morning when you wake up, you can go about your day knowing that I've already done the hardest thing that I can do, that could come to me during my day. I've already done the hardest thing that I could possibly do within the span of this 24 hours, 12 hours, whatever. So think about it like that. And I call it the eat the frog. I didn't make it up. I'm just using it now because I like it and it works for me. So what that means basically in your life, in terms of why you are struggling to do something hard, is because you're not like acclimating it towards your lifestyle. You're not acclimating it towards a real life system. So if you had to eat the frog every single day, the moment you put that frog in the fridge and you're like, no, I'll eat it after lunch, bro. Like, let me get this done. I'll eat it after lunch. You come back from lunch, you're like, oh, okay, you know what? Let me just go to class and then I'll eat it after, and then next thing is like 10 p.m. and you're like, oh, I'll try again tomorrow, bro. Like, I'm not gonna eat a frog before I sleep. What up, all that kind of stuff. So think about it like that. That's what happens. That's why you don't go to the gym. You're like, I'm gonna go, nothing. You're like, I'm gonna read that book, the book that you have sitting in your room. You walk past it every day. You walk past the gym every day. You think about studying. You're like, and then you never get anything done. You never get to actually do what you want to do. And half the time, the things that you do want to do, these things that are hard, the things that you don't want to do, at least that are hard, lead to what you actually want in life. You want to get a good grade so you can get a good job, so you can get a living and all that kind of stuff and get yourself in the system. You want to have a good body so you can walk around feeling less insecure and less anxious and less shirt pulling, all that kind of stuff. Less, if you're skinny, you feel like I'm too skinny, I'm walking around, I'm like, whatever the case is, but so eat the frog. So that means for me, this is what that means for me. A book, so for me, like the Bible, I have the Bible right next to me in the morning when I wake up. So that's my frog. That's something I've been struggling to read and like be consistent with. And the gym as well. Before I do anything in the day, the first thing I do is read my Bible. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, because I have it right next to me when I wake up, it's like there, So if you put the frog in the fridge as well, that doesn't even help your case because you're making the frog too far away. You're making extra steps to get to the frog, If you had to climb up that mountain and you have to keep paying toll gates at every single point, whereas you could go through a route that doesn't need you to take toll gates, you should take the route that doesn't need you to take toll gates. You take the route that is just a bit easier to get to, So put your Bible next to you, put your book next to you. When you wake up, you look at it. Immediately you're thinking, I should read this. Put your shoes, your gym shoes, right next to you when you wake up. Immediately when you wake up, you're like, I need to go to the gym. You know, you can still skip because you don't want to, and that's the end. That's at the end of the day. If you really don't want to do something, you will never do it. So you gotta eat the frog. You gotta wake up in the morning, and you gotta eat the frog. You know, it's the hardest thing that you can do in the day for yourself, because you know yourself and you know what it is that you struggle with. So whatever that is, do that first. Eat that frog first thing in the morning. Né? So that's what I do. I eat the frog first thing in the morning. I go to the gym. Before I go to the gym, though, I've read my Bible the first thing in the morning, you know, because it's something that I'm not good at, you know. I just never got used to it. So I'm trying to force it myself to do it. And now it's kind of become like a thing. Like when I wake up, I'm already thinking about it, you know. And it's a nice way for me to go into my day, because before I get attacked by emails, school, and I start thinking about, oh my God, I have this class, I have this due, I have this due, I have this due, blah, 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 blah. I've gotten myself in a better state, in a better flow. For you, if you don't have like a religious background and you want to feel sort of meditate, first thing in the morning that you should do, you should meditate, get yourself in a better state, in a better. Don't wake up and doom scroll, man. You know, try to keep your phone as far away from you when you wake up. You know, and then I go to the gym, because I can't go to the gym if I really struggle to go at any other time if I don't go in the morning, because then I get school and then it just stacks up. All right, so eat the frog. Secondly, kind of ties back to how we started. Look at focus on your horizon rather than the road. So basically what that means is that if you're climbing up this mountain, it's a 100-kilometer route that you're traveling up, and you're trying to get to the top, because at the top you have your dream body, you have your whatever it is that you want. Think of it, whatever it is. Your car if you're saving up for a car, your business if you're starting a business. You know, stop looking at the cost of the fact that, oh my word, I've got 100 kilometers to go. Break it up. Think about the fact that, oh my word, once I hit 5 kilometers, bruh, like if I can get to 5K, you know, celebrate those little steps, you know, reward yourself in that kind of stuff, and stop looking at the fact that this 100 kilometers, you know, because you've probably never done 100 kilometers, you know. Stop focusing on the fact that it is 100 kilometers, because that is exactly what is going to stop you from going up this 100-kilometer route, you know. Gym wise, the cost of it, the cost of like you wanting to go to the gym is you having to go there, first of all, having to look like an idiot for at least a month while you learn how to gym, while you learn how to get proper form, while you learn how to lift weights properly. You feel weak. Everyone around you knows what they're doing. They're going in about boom, 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 boom. But how are you ever going to be able to get to that point, that flow state, if you don't want to go, because you're focused on the cost? Those guys are probably at like the 50-kilometer mark on the mountain. You will never be able to get to the 50-kilometer mark if you don't want to get through the 5K mark. You know what I'm saying? So stop looking at the cost, man. Just focus on why you're doing it. You know, do it for that little you that was skinny, that was teased when he was skinny. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just change your perspective on it. You know, find something bigger than you to do everything that you're doing it for. I'm not sure that's proper grammar, but I digress. So yeah, man, like stop looking at the cost. Like if you want to start a business, this one's even a bit funnier, because it's like, if you want to start a business, or if you want to start content creation, your worst enemy, or the thing that you fear the most, is people seeing you, kind of, in a way. You know, you kind of feel like, oh man, I don't really want to post. People are gonna see me. You know, but aren't those like your customers? You know, you don't want to go to the gym because you don't want to walk downstairs and see people see you go to the gym. You don't want people to see you you don't want people to see you try, you know? You don't want people to see you trying to start a business because you're afraid, like, you're basically afraid that you're gonna fail. You know, that's why you don't want them to see you. That's why you can't go to the gym. That's why you can't start that business. That's why you can't post on your TikTok, because you're afraid, like, oh man, what if they see me? Like, they're gonna see that I posted, they're gonna think I'm a jack. And vele they're gonna think that, because I don't know, they got nothing better to do. They're gonna think something like that. But like, don't you want that? Don't you want them to be like, oh, that's the guy with the TikTok channel that's got 10 million followers? I think I don't have TikTok, so I'm not sure. That's that guy with the business, with the camera business that's blowing up right now. That's that guy with the best marks in class because he's always at the library. If you don't want to go to the library and go study, and because you're like, I don't want people to see that I'm always like, I'm a sweat, I'm always putting in effort. I'm always, I don't want people to see me running because, and I struggle from that as well. I'm speaking from my own experience because I'm like, I don't really want people to see me go to the gym. They're gonna know that I'm trying to change my body. But those are the same people that are gonna be complimenting you, and then you're gonna be happy that you changed your body in the first place because they're complimenting you. It's so weird. It's so weird. It's so weird. So that for that I say set up systems. Yeah. For that I say set up systems. I think that's point number 3. Set up systems that work in your favor. I'm a student, so I have classes. So classes are priorities. So let's reframe this. Set up systems, and you have in your system of life. You've got goals, tasks. Let's say tasks. You've got goals, you've got tasks, you've got things that you need to do, whatever the case is. I'm going to use my life as an example because it's a bit easier to convey it. So, class. Let's say I've got class at 11 o'clock, which I do on Monday. But anyway, I've got class at 11 o'clock. I want to go to the gym. I need to study. I have to read my book that I want to read. I still want to see my friends, I got a project that is here weighing over my head that I need to get done at some point. So what you want to do, you want to put these tasks in like a priority bracket, put kind of understand the weight of everything you need to do, because not everything is everything. Not all your tasks are equal in weight. There's a quote. It's not a quote, but like it is a quote, but I can't remember it. It's from the book, George Orwell's book, Animal Farm. I think it says all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, and that is true. All tasks are equal, but some tasks are more equal than others, because for your goals, if you want to do well, going to the library to prepare for your class before you go to the class, after the class to go read up on whatever was done, preparing your coding skills because you're supposed to get a job next year. That's me. They matter towards your goal. Those tasks are more equal than the other tasks, such as seeing your friends. I love the friends, but you know what I'm saying. Watching anime, whatever it is that you want to do during the day, anything that you want to do is a task. We don't have to kind of like make this so robotic and make this so kind of, so yeah, set up systems. So you've got your A tasks, which is stuff that you have to get done. That's like your priorities. That's like number 1. That's like gym. That's like reading. That's like going to class. That's like studying. Depending on your goals. That's for me. That's my list. That's my list for my goals. And then you've got your B tasks, stuff that you should get done. The stuff that you should get done is stuff that you should do only after you've done your B tasks, only after you've done your A tasks. Because once you've eaten the frog, or your A tasks, I'm going to use this for A, it's getting too complicated. Once you've done your A tasks, everything else has come somewhat easier. A, B, C, D. We're going to stick to this. I'm sorry. Once you've done your A tasks, everything that comes afterwards should be easier. Once you've eaten the frog, anything that you're going to do in that day is going to be a lot easier than eating a freaking frog in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So once I've gone to the gym in the morning, once I've read in the morning, at that point, it set me up. These endorphins that you get, even we're not going to go into that today. That's a different video where I speak about that kind of stuff, but like, you do get that, every time you go around, you do get a boost, you do feel better, there's a reason that is. We're not doing that today though, So you gotta do your task A first. You gotta try prioritize that first. Whatever it is that is the hardest for you and for your goals. I think it needs a lot of self-introspection as well, because you need to know what it is that you actually want. You need to know what it is that is actually your goal, and that is not an easy task to do. I do admit. I digress. B, we're not gonna do that today. That's like finding your purpose and stuff. I'm not doing that today. It's somewhere, it's coming. B, the task that you should do. You've got an assignment, a quiz. Make it a bit easier. A quiz is due on Friday. It's Monday today. You should do it today, but it's not time pressing as you going to study, as you going to code, as you going. I had some technical difficulties there, but we're back. I need to wrap it up. I'm running out of storage, and I kind of finished the video, and then I'm gonna have to restart now because run out of storage. So yeah, I had to do some stuff. And anyway, I'll say B tasks. I think that's where I was at. B tasks. B tasks are the stuff that you should get done, and then you got your C tasks, the stuff that you don't need to get done, but the stuff that you want to do the most. It's the stuff that you need to get done, you should get done, you want to get done, and you probably will get done. And we spend the most amount of time in this range of tasks. The tasks in the C range are the ones that we enjoy the most. It's stuff like playing video games. It's stuff like going to a bar, watching football, spending time with your friends. It's important stuff. It's stuff that you want to do the most. And depending on your goals and depending on where you are in life and depending on the day, it changes. Spending time with your friends could be an A task on a certain time of the year. It's not always like you should never spend time with your friends. You should be a workaholic. That's not what this is. That's not what this is about. This is about being able to discern what you should do, when you should do, how you should do what you want to do, and you need to do it. Hey, that was nice. So there's an element of that, and then D task is the task that you can delegate. It's the task that you don't have to do immediately. It's the task that you don't have to do today or tomorrow. And these are the ones we end up forgetting and we end up procrastinating on them, and then we remember them and it's too late. It's sending that email, all that kind of stuff. And it's stuff that is sorted. If you have a system in your life that allows you to plan out your day in a way, in a proper methodological way, and you write the stuff down, you know what needs to get done. You can see that, oh my word, it's been 5 days. I still haven't done the thing that was task D on Tuesday. Now it's like, what, Sunday? 5 days, yeah, Sunday. So it's like, you need to do it. And then to finish off, you need to reward yourself. So you need to have a system that works for yourself, your body, your life as a whole. For me, before I go into the reward, for me, a system that works well for me is being able to wake up in the morning, get my mind in a better space, in a good space, by reading the Bible and going to the gym, and then everything from there falls in place, and everyone's gonna have different lifestyles, different times. If you have 7:30 classes, that can't be you. You can't, it's gonna be very hard for you to go to the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning, but you could still read a book in the morning before you start jamming your mind with calculus and stuff like that. You need to figure out what you need in life, what you are seeking, you need to find a way to close the emptiness in your heart. You know, you need to meditate in the morning when you wake up, if that's your thing. If you don't want to pray and read, if you want to read, you can just read a book, you can just listen to a podcast. But I just think people should start their days slow with sunset. But that's a different day and a different topic. But yeah, you know, and like my life kind of revolves basically around school, because that's where I'm at right now, and I fill in the gaps with the things that I want to do. You know, for me, one of the frogs in my life is just going to class, and that is a non-negotiable. Going to class, it's like a thing. It's like a thing. So it's there, and then eating the frog, for me, I've got a few frogs that I need to eat in the day, you know, but I try to get them done as soon as I can. You know, I heard there was a guy, I saw a video about it, I didn't hear anything. I saw a TikTok, Instagram reel, I'm not lie. A guy who was learning, who wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and he had the guitar in his wardrobe. And he would play it like once a week. And then he started putting it in the middle of his room, and then he was able to play it like 5 times a week, and then he actually got good. It's the same thing with reading your book, a book that you want to read. You know, put it next to your desk, next to your laptop. Put it where, you know, put it in a plain open site. If you can leave it open, so that every time you see it, you're constantly reminded, yep, I gotta do that, I gotta do that, I gotta do that, you know. Make your life easier, you know. And onto the rewarding yourself thing, which is like the final thing I think that you should do in terms of wanting to be able to do hard things. You need to be able to reward yourself in a healthy way, in a good way. So there's a lot of ways you can do this. Yeah. As I was saying, there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can reward yourself in many ways. But I think it's important to be able to know and kind of give yourself some grace that, okay, shout out, I've done this. We had another batch of technical difficulties, but we'll be fixing them because I've got my NAS server running, and I'm gonna figure out how to stop using iCloud so I can have my own server for like space and stuff like that. So I'm figuring that out. But as I was saying, you need to reward yourself, give yourself grace. I wasn't even sure where I was with these analogies at this point, but I'm gonna push through, and I'm gonna say that when you are climbing up the mountain, you need to be able to celebrate the points, celebrate the checkpoints as you're chasing that 100K mark with the abs and everything like that. Or for you, let's make it a bit easier, losing 10 kilograms, getting 75%, getting an A, getting whatever it is, getting 5 customers for your business. You need to be able to see that I've made 5 kilometers of progress. Wow. And celebrate it with someone as well. It's so important to be able to celebrate it with someone that will celebrate it with you and make you feel proud of your accomplishment. You know what I mean? You know, if I can deadlift 100 kgs, you know, now, and I couldn't even do a push-up, I need to send it to my friends, and they need to be like, bro, like that's insane. When you can do 1 push-up, you need to send it to your friends, because, you know, how are you going to be able to keep going if you are not constantly getting that sense of, I'm still on the right track. Yes, I'm doing it. Yes, I'm doing it. Yes, I'm doing it. You know, keep getting more proud of yourself, keep building it up. And once you get to that point, you've lost that 10 kilograms, it's important to be like, wow, that was impressive. And look back at all the checkpoints and be like, what is it going to look like when I learn how to do a muscle up? When I learn how to have abs? How is it going to look like when my business has 100K followers on Instagram? How is it going to look like when I'm averaging distinctions clearly, you know? How is it going to look like? And then go for that. You know, you need to constantly be, you know, and stop being afraid. That's the biggest one. We are too afraid of what people are going to think. And these are the same people that we want to be happy or proud of what we've accomplished. You don't want to go to the gym because you don't want people to see you go to the gym. The reason you don't want them to see you is because you're afraid that they're going to see you go to the gym and then you don't make any progress after 3 months because you're going to quit. Because you know that you're going to quit. And you know that in 3 months, they're going to see that this guy was going to the gym and this bloke still looks the same. What the fuck, you know? So you're afraid to ask your friend who's the smartest in the friend group or who's got the best grades how he's doing it. how he's a good coder. What is he doing differently? Because you're afraid that you're gonna try implement what he said implement, and then you're not gonna be able to get the same results as him. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a quote from this guy with the big beard, and he said that a sword doesn't get sharp by laying by laying on the ground. I don't know what he said, but basically, a sword gets sharp by going in the, remember that thing with the fire, going in there, and it gets hammered. You're not gonna get it right on the first time, even if he does give you his exact advice on how he, you know. My friend who studies accounting, he's like super smart, and I had to humble myself and ask him, how does he do it? What is he doing differently than I am? What do I, because he's always been like super smart, that's not the conversation today, but like, what is he doing? Yes, a little bit of it is like genetic or whatever, and you can unlock that with neuroplasticity, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about why you suck at doing hard things. Because I was probably afraid that if I ask him and then there's no improvement, he's gonna think I'm a failure. And that's why you don't want to do it. Because you low-key don't really believe that you can do it. You don't really believe that you can stick to the gym for 3 months. That's why you don't even want to go. That's why you don't want to go at all, because you don't believe that you can actually do it. Because you keep making excuses that, oh man, I've got class, I've got this, that, and that. Every day of the hour, there are those people, yes, engineering students, but like, if you really wanted that, if you really, really wanted it, you'd do it. There's a guy I know who's playing rugby, he studies engineering, if you really wanted to do it, you could do it. There's a guy I knew who played rugby for the university, he studied chartered accountancy, and he's in honors now, and he's clearly smart, he's clearly, I think he might have even been golden key and stuff like that, and he played rugby for the school, which is even more demanding. He wanted it. If you really want something, you'll actually do it. And the problem is that you don't want to do it. You're afraid that people are going to look at you. You're looking at... Anyway, I need to finish now. The technical difficulties keep on recurring. But you don't want to believe. You don't want to. You don't even believe that you can do it. Because you know that you're not going to be at the gym in 3 months. That's why you don't want to ask him, bruh, how are you doing it, You don't want to ask that guy who's smarter than you, because you're not going to be there, and that's the reason why we struggle to do hard things, because low-key we don't believe that we can do them. Maybe we have too many insecurities and we don't really believe that we're worth that kind of stuff, and that's not even the thing that I want to speak about today, but I don't know if that's true. That's just my observation, that we don't think that we are capable of certain things in general, and that holds us back. I think having a bad circle around you can also make it a lot harder. We're a bit too insecure. We live in a world where it's too much instant gratification. You do something now, you get so we're not used to earning things, doing hard things and all that kind of stuff. So that does make it harder. Ladies and gentlemen, like, subscribe. Tell me what you want me to speak about next. If you do have any ideas, comment on anything that you relate to, or anything that you think I said was out of pocket or was wrong. Speak to me. I just want to see how you feel, and we'll continue to learn and yearn and learn with me, Lindani. Thank you.